Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 245 of bulking to 75 kilos and getting to squat 75 kilos on one leg. Now, today, as of recording, it's my birthday. You will be seeing it a week later, but I am turning 26 and, I have a good birthday present planned today. It's not blowing out 26 candles, it's gonna be doing 20 sets of squats, 10 on each leg, which I'm fucking nervous for. But if you think about it, it's such a good blessing, that you're able to do this. It's a gift that you're able to work out, move around, get a good sweat going and feel good afterwards. Some people can't do that, and I'm happy that I get to do it every day, even though like today, it doesn't feel like it, it doesn't feel like a present because I'm fucking nervous. I'm about to shit myself. Not because of eating too much birthday cake, that will be tonight and I'll be shitting myself tomorrow, but, just because of the fact that these workouts, like particularly the leg workouts, they're so fucking hard. And especially when you've got a lot of sets planned, a lot of hard sets planned, it's just something, it fucks with me. And it will probably keep fucking with me every time I do this kind of workout. But 10 sets on each leg. Every time you have to pick up a heavy weight, 40 kilos today. You have to squat it for 4 times, which, if you don't concentrate, you don't even do for 1 set. And it's just so fucking taxing, So today, yeah, I don't really have a lot of other stuff to say, really, other than the fact that this workout will be very hard, but at the same time very rewarding, Because it's very hard, it's gonna be rewarding. And, like these heavy volume workouts, those are the ones that, I fear them, and that's why I should be doing them, That's why I should be doing them over and over and over again in order to get eventually to a 75 kilo pistol squat. But let's just get started. Maybe there will be some more yapping afterwards in the training, when I'm done with these sets. But for now, my heart is beating and I don't know what to say. So let's just get going. Oh, fuck. Can I get a reset? Holy shit. Fuck! I gotta change my plans. And I have a confession to make. Okie dokie, so quick confession, right? The reason I'm not able to squat 10 sets with 40 kilos today is not because it's such a huge jump. It's not because, all of a sudden it's gone too much. It's because I've been running too much. And I fucking hate to say it, I've been running too much. I knew this would happen, and yet I did it. I increased the running volume. I started doing 10Ks almost daily. This week I did 6 times of a 10-kilometer run. And basically, because of that, my legs aren't recovered. They felt heavy this morning. They felt heavy yesterday. And that's the only reason today I'm not able to squat. So I'm fucking pissed at myself, to be honest, boys. And let me tell you, you might be thinking oh, how can you be mad at yourself? You're just trying to do more. But that's not the case, I am bulking right now. I have strength goals right now. I know that running will not help my strength goals. And, by running more, it's not like I'm doing my best more. In fact, I'm not doing my best, I'm not doing my best to recover. Yes, I'm training harder. I'm doing more exercise, but that doesn't equal trying hard. That doesn't equal doing your best. Because let's pull it back and talk about the Master Roshi, the Kamehameha style in Dragon Ball. How do you get strong? You train hard, you study well, okay, and then you eat and sleep plenty. You have to recover, which I'm not doing when it relates to my my strength goals, you know? I like it's so fucking frustrating because I've told you this before, you know, the whole, you know, train hard, study well, eat and sleep plenty. I know this, and yet I just fall for it. I knew starting, like, I was running more and more 10Ks, and I was telling myself, oh, it's gonna be okay. But in the back of my mind, I kind of knew, you know, it was gonna have some kind of effect. I just wanted to downplay it in my head, you know, and that's because you know, it's a mentally weak decision because I have to be able to focus. I have to be able to tell myself, hey, running is after the bulk. Right now, you just, you know, do the minimum amount of running and you just try to get as strong and fucking big as possible, right? And if I did that, I would have done 10 sets with 40 kilos a day. But today I can't because my legs are destroyed. You know, I was talking about it a couple days ago as well, you know, after the planche goal. You know, I reached the planche goal and I told you guys, right now, the only goals left is to eat as much as possible and squat as much as possible, right? Everything should be in function to let my legs recover to train again, right? To squat again, to do Nordic rolls again. That's the only thing that matters right now. And that's not only for like upper body workouts that will like influence my lower body workouts. It's also for running, of course. And it's so fucking stupid because I was telling you last week, and then now I'm doing the wrong shit. But I guess this is a big harsh lesson. You know, it's a bit you know, a sour taste in my mouth. But I guess this is the present I needed for my birthday. You know, this is my wake up call. And you know, everyone makes mistakes, right? You make mistakes, I do as well, as you just saw. And you know, the only way that they're gonna remain mistakes is if you don't do anything about it, right? So right now I know I just need to fucking lock in and keep the running at bay, right? Keep it to 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers a week, not fucking 70, right? And then I can recover. But you know, if I don't do anything right now, if I don't change anything, and I just keep doing the same stuff, it's a mistake. It remains a mistake. But if I learn from it, it's gonna be a lesson, right? So everything you do in your life, right, whether it's good or bad, you know, if you just take it as an experience and you try to use it to improve your decisions in the future, you're not gonna be left with any regrets. If at the end of the bulk, you know, from today I was able to really like change things up and focus and not do these stupid things anymore, then I will look back at today and say, hey, on that day I learned a lesson, and thanks to that, you know, I was able to achieve what I achieved at the end of the build, right? But yeah, fuck, a long yap, but a necessary one. You know, I'm more so talking to myself than I'm talking to you guys at the moment because god fucking damn it, it's frustrating. You know, I do this over and over and over again, and probably I'm gonna make some kind of the same mistake in the future, like a mistake, maybe not being like entirely the same, but perhaps in the future when I'm focusing on running, I'll be doing too much training and just sit here repeating the same shit over and over again, you know. But hey, you know, you take the mistakes, you learn from them, you try to do your best, and then, you know, you improve from them, you know. Anyway, 40 kilos a day will not be a good idea. I think I'm gonna drop it down to like 20 kilos and do some higher rep stuff because I do want to get some squats in me. You know, I do want to get a good leg pump. I just want to make it not as heavy so that I can recover more easily for the next time. Because next time, don't get me fucking wrong, guys, I'm gonna do 10 sets of 40 kilos and it's gonna be fucking epic. So let's go. Let's do something else. All right. I'm gonna increase the reps a little bit. You know, every time I do a set, I'm gonna increase the reps by one. So I'll be doing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The reason I'm doing this is because 5 reps, 24 kilos, I can do this all day. It doesn't make me nervous. This training, so far, it's boring because I know I can do this. And if I think about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 reps, well, then I start fucking doubting myself. That's where I have to be. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, you just fucked up with the running. Shouldn't you recover? Well, yes, you're right. I should recover by running less. But the goal remains the same. I should squat as hard as possible. That's my goal for the next 3 months. I should become as strong as possible. So I'm not gonna, recover by going slow on the squat. No. The goal is to squat as hard as possible every time. Today, I can still squat heavy or squat hard with a bit of a lighter weight. And that's what I'm gonna do. And then tomorrow, when my legs are fucking destroyed, I'll recover by punishing myself and doing my old run-walk routine for 5 kilometers, right? Easiest shit ever. And it's gonna fucking suck because it's so easy. But it's necessary because I need to recover. Not by doing less squats, but by doing less of everything else. Okay, let's sit down and discuss. I mean, today's training, was it a success? Yes and no, Of course, it fucking sucked. Plan A didn't go as planned, I had to switch up things, and that's because of my own dumb mistakes. But on the other hand, today I found out about those mistakes, I learned something, and then instead of feeling down and just quitting, I was able to at least excuse plan B, adjust along the way because I felt it was too easy, and still push myself. So in that sense, I'm very happy with it. And because it was a bit of higher reps, just some technical stuff about training, but when you're pushing heavy weights, technique is very important, but you learn technique mostly by doing repetitions, over and over and over again. And today I really felt I was able to concentrate on technique, especially in the first few sets, from set number 7, 8, it was kind of getting difficult though. But, mistakes have been made, mistakes will be fixed. That's the most important part, In the end, if, let's say you have a goal, right, and you give yourself a deadline, in my case, it's 12 weeks. At the end of your deadline, when when all is said and done, you've done your max attempt, you check if you reached your goal or not. When you look back at your things, at your progress, at your process, especially, the process of training, all the weeks and months you've spent, when you look back on it, right, no matter how tired you are at the end, if you know from yourself, like, hey, I wasn't doing goal-specific things, I was running way too many distances, like way too long of a distance, and every step I took was a step further from my actual goal, right? Even though you're tired, even though, you've spent yourself, you're not going to be satisfied because in your mind, that you could have done better. You're going to be satisfied, of course, when you've spent your all, you're not going to be happy with a half-baked attempt at something, right? But also when you target all of your energy into the specific thing you're aiming for. If you're trying to get bigger, you want to spend your energy training hard, like training stuff, strength stuff. You wanna spend your energy eating, right? Your mental energy, because sometimes you don't want to eat, right? That's what's gonna make you happy in the end, not like side missions that are getting you distracted. In Pokemon, you have the Elite Four. That's what you're aiming for. You're not gonna be, aimlessly wandering around forever without ever challenging the big goal. And it's like in a speedrun, when you, like, in the speedrun, yes, if you do a side mission, you're gonna be a higher level, and maybe, you have some kind of advantage, but, it's distracting you from your main goal, And that might be a stupid example, but whatever, That's what I learned today. So I guess today was not the present I expected, but perhaps it was the present I needed. So tomorrow I'll see you for hamstrings, and let's get some big boy legs. 74.5 kilos the last few days. I'm just gonna bump it up to 75 kilos, maintain that weight for a couple months, put on as much muscle size in that frame as possible, and be proud of the result. I was editing the 8-month progress update yesterday. I was proud of myself. I was proud of the results I've gotten, but I also think I can do better. So 3 months. Let's just give it a all. And that's it for today. Whew.